Oh, did, thumbs up if I've done all of them up to this point. I think I've done all but maybe one of them. Uh, of these. Yeah, so I mean, for these, there should really be a reason to submit late because I mean, I literally walk you through them step by step. There really shouldn't be any reason to get anything wrong either. Where problem is, and I'm preaching to the choir, pardon my expression, but preaching to the choir simply means if you don't know, it means you guys are here, and I believe you guys are the students that are currently here are the ones that are usually here. Um, so what happens is people that don't come, they're not watching the video, they're not doing the follow along, and then they don't do the assignments. Um, and it's frustrating to me. Um, it's usually not till about the 10th week that I have to have that talk of, hey, you know, I'm a kind, caring, understanding individual, but don't mistake that for weakness type of thing. I'm sure you've heard that speech from people before. Um, Maybe your parents have said that or something. I don't know. But it's that. Okay. Now, obviously, I sent a announcement out that was pretty, I don't know, probably pretty strongly worded, um, about getting stuff done on time and stuff like that. Um, just because I send a message out there like that doesn't mean I'm still not human. And if you have an issue that's a real issue, I understand that and we can work that out. I mean, obviously, you guys had to deal with my illness and my not being there. So, I have to be understanding on the other side too, correct? I mean, this, by the way, if you go to React, you can give me a thumbs up. If you really like me, you can give me a hand clap. If you really, really, really like me, you can shoot whoever's clicking that. Oh, it's not doing it. Oh, I'm raising my hand. I quit clicking your head. You can laugh at me. You can be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you said that. So anyway, stupid things. Um, and thank you for the heart, Cameron. So anyway, okay, nice. What was that? Sorry. I don't know if I'm gonna make it through this. We'll see. Um, Last class, if you go back to the video, if you look at the screen I have up, 4.1.1, it says insert relative, absolute, and mixed references. We should be able to do that. Okay. The reason I say that is because I went over those and I know I went over those. Uh, I showed you what happens with them. I'm going to show you again, but I'm going to show you in a simplified way. If I say equals this cell, actually, let me hit this. If you hold down the control key and hit the tilde key, which on a PC is above the tab, but tilde is that little wave thing that you see in the Spanish language. Okay. What that does is it shows you all functions that are on a sheet. Okay. And I want to take us over a little more. Okay. Right here, if I say equals this cell, right now it's showing me the formula. If I hold down control and hit tilde, it shows me what the value is. Control tilde, all it does is it bounces back and forth between a formula worksheet and a general spreadsheet. So it'll show you all formulas that are on there. Now here's the thing. If I copy this down and I copy it over, you can see what's happening. Here it's J2, here's J3 because I'm dragging down the rows. Here it's K3 because I'm not just dragging down the rows, but I dragged across columns and now things don't make sense. Okay. Um, I think my wife was nice enough to tell me that they changed it so you actually, well, they didn't change it. Well, it's hard to show you guys, but my external keyboard, for some reason, I actually have to hold down the function key and then hit F4, or F5, I'm sorry. Is it F5 or F4? Nope, it's F4. So why is it not doing it? Here, F4. Okay. If I hit F4, some of you don't need to hold the function key down. Some of you might have to. If you have a Mac, this does not work, I believe. Okay. But if I hold down function and I hit F4, you can see that it gives me an absolute cell reference because I'm saving the J, I'm saving the 2. When I hit enter, if I copy that formula down, it always looks in J2. If I copy it all the way across, it always looks in J2. Okay, that is an absolute cell address. If I hold down function and I hit F4, oh, gotta be in the editing mode, sorry. Now I'm saving only the 2. So if I copy it down a row, you can see that it's staying at 2. But if I copy across columns, it changes to K. It changes to K from J. That is a relative, that is a mixed reference, I'm sorry, where we're only saving the 2, okay? If I was to change this, I'm gonna hold down the function key. I gotta be in the edit mode, so I gotta double click the cell. Hold down function, hit F4. Now I'm saving just the J. I hit enter, I copy it down. You can see that the row changes, copy it over. The rows are changing, but I'm saving the J. And it doesn't matter how far over I copy it and everything else, it's always going to look in J. I like to say the $sign, it's an S, right? Save J2 or J or J2 or what have you. Because if I click here, I can hit a function at 4 again for me, and it goes to a relative, an absolute mixed cell address that has us saving the row, mixed cell address that has us saving the column. Okay. I did go over that, but I'm glad I went over it again so I could actually show you what happens when you copy it, because I don't think I did that in class. Am I correct? Like last time we had class, I don't think I did that. Um, so there's that. Sorry. Um, Now perform calculations by using average, max, min, and sum functions in the shipping cost worksheet. Here's what I want everyone to do when you're on here. Once you click enable editing, go to file, save as, save it to your OneDrive or a PC or whatever, wherever you want to save it. Make sure you know where you're saving it. And instead of lab start file, change that to lab one. In this case, it's C, and then your last name. Okay. And then when I click save, you can see that the name is up here, lab one C, Sanford. Okay. It shows that it's on autosave because I'm using my OneDrive. If I was using my PC, it won't be on autosave. So keep that in mind. Okay. But now I know which one I'm submitting. Does that help anybody? Hopefully. Um, cool. So there's that. The other thing about that is please, please, please don't email me your files. They get so lost. I mean, if I showed you you know what, I'll show you my inbox. I don't really care. Um, but if I go through, I've just got email after email after email after email, especially after it doesn't sort by day anymore. After I get past, like for last week, all of a sudden, you see how I might lose your email? Um, so I want to make sure, and if if I forget, I went back through the weekly folders and I made sure that I set everything, including the uh the LinkedIn stuff, I set everything to allow unlimited submissions. So if you submitted the wrong file, resubmit the correct file. I'll take the newest file and grade it, and the other ones I just get to ignore. Make sense? Let's say I gave you a 0 because it was the wrong file. If you resubmit, it'll show me an exclamation mark with a yellow circle to show me that something has been submitted. So then I can go back in and grade. So please, please, please use Blackboard. It'll be easier for all of us. So anyway, I'm going to shipping cost. In the shipping cost worksheet, calculate the total cost of shipping for each shipping line in cell E9, F9, and G9. Now, for E9, F9, and G9. Now, here's the thing. I can do, oh, shoot, get something. Perform calculations by using average of some, in some functions. Calculate the total cost of shipping for each shipping line. So if I was to do this, I'd say equals equals min, even though it says lowest, min is the function for this parenthesis. And the lowest cost would be this times, should I be able to say the sum of? Yeah, shoot. I'm trying to think how I want to do this. They're not real specific in the instructions, and that gives us a problem. I know some of you run into that problem, and that's why I started doing the walkthroughs. So using a sum function, I'm assuming by using average min, total cost of shipping. Okay, so now I know. Times the sum of these. Okay. You need the same number of opening parentheses as closing parentheses. Technically, I shouldn't need that parenthesis there. Okay. I should be able to do it just like this. So I'm taking B11 and I'm multiplying it by these. I want to be able to copy that across, right? So one of the things I want to do is if I have a range, I can hold down that function and hit F4. I'm copying across, but I still want to look at D. I'm copying across, but I still want to look at B. Okay. So I want to do my function 4 until I'm saving my column letter. Make sense? I think so. I hit enter. Well, that should be a number there. Copy it across to these. Oh, wait, no, my bad. I'm not copy. Wait a second. Why is it that? Oh, I need the total first, so I need to do. They didn't tell us to do this part, did they? There's this. I always want to look in that cell for this column, so function F4, hit enter. Oh, why do they do this to us? These should be numbers. There. Copy that down. There we go. For a blue line, I want the same thing, except now I want to take, say, equals this times this function F4, hit enter. I should be able to just copy that down. For this, I should be able to say equals this times this, hit F4, hit enter, copy that down. Totals, I should be able to just highlight these, just like this. Go to sum, change it to a number. Why do they have everything formatted this time? I don't get it. So the lowest cost is going to be between these, okay? So instead of doing the range that I was doing right here, I'm actually going to do this range, okay? So my lower, wait, I didn't sum that. Oh yeah, I did sum that. I want the lowest of, I bet. I want the min of that. That's the only thing I need. The minimum shipping cost of that equals average, parenthesis. Um, of
Hey,
these.
Professor, could you redo
Yeah.
that, please?
Of which part?
Um, the the sums part.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Let me change these to number real quick and then I'll show you the sums. One thing you could do is you could say equal sum and highlight the range and hit enter. But technically, it's easier to highlight a range and click this auto sum button and choose sum. It's just like this. If I wanted max, I can say max. And instead of that range, highlight this range. Okay.
Could you possibly show how to like get all the numbers for like the red line and blue line and green line again? Or
I'll
the
show you.
formula.
I will show you the formula. Remember that control tilde thing? There are your formulas, all the formulas that we've done so far. I will let it sit there for a second while you guys look at that. Technically, you only need to type in this one once because of the way it's written. You can copy it down. Type this one once, copy it down. Type this one once, copy it down. Okay?
Thank you.
No problem. So we've used average, min, max, and sum functions. We've been using average, max, min, and sum for this. Count cells by count, count A and count blank. So we're going to look at that as well. Is everyone set here? If I'm pointing this way like this, that's the screen I'm working on. This is the screen you're on. Any other questions on this? If you got questions, now's the time to ask because I'm about to switch sheets.
My
Turn your volume down just a little. Now, there you go.
given me so for red line shipping costs, it's only given me the first three values, and then the other ones are like blank. I don't really know what's going on.
Control tilde. For red line shipping cost, do you have your dollars in the right spot?
Um,
Oh,
let me see.
oh, you guys, what? Okay, you guys got me. I screwed up. This right here also needs to be absolute. No, it doesn't. That's right. No, ignore me. Yeah, that's right. Sorry. Um, but you have to have your dollar signs in the right spot because otherwise what happened is if you didn't save, if this wasn't absolute, when you copy down, it goes to this value next, this value next, and then zero. So you get nothing after those three. So you have to make sure that when you're doing this, you have the absolute cell reference there.
Okay, so you put dollar signs. Okay, I see.
Yeah. Yep. Absolute cell reference. It always has a dollar sign in front of the column and a dollar sign in front of the row number. Okay. And that's where that F4 key comes in handy is on a Mac, obviously, I don't believe it works at all. But on here, if you hold down the function key and hit F4, it works. On my laptop, all I have to do is hit F4. Just has to do with this stupid keyboard. Okay. Did that help you?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions on this sheet? None? Okay. We're gonna go to the flower sheet because that's where they want us to go next. In cell C30, enter a function to count how many flowers are in zone 3. Okay. And it said in cell C30. So C30, ABC. I can do equals count. Now there's different I can count. If I count A, I'm counting how many cells have a letter in them. Okay. If I count blank, it counts how many blank cells there are. I want to count A. And what do I want to count A of? I want to count A of this range. I hit enter. Now, remember I held down control and hit tilde or function tilde. But why is it acting this way? Well, now that's goofy. What the heck? Oh, why is it not showing me my formulas? Show formulas. I don't know why it did that. Number of flowers per zone. It did it that time. Oh, that's because I was hitting F4. Yo, I meant to hit control tilde. That's what I should. Okay, ignore me. Don't totally ignore me. That's the right formula. Okay. And all I have to do is copy this across and it gives me the value for each zone. Make sense? I'm going to show you the formulas so you see exactly what just happened. Okay. Now, because it told us to use autofill to copy the formula to D from D30 to I30, which I did. All I did was copy it over. Okay. That helpful? Okay. Any questions on that?
Could you please go over how to copy the formula?
So, yeah, all I do is I grab the fill handle and I drag it across. So when I did that up here in the formula bar, if I click on the next cell, you can see how it's changing. That actually copies the formula.
Awesome, thank you.
No problem. The next one's a little more interesting because we have to enter a function to add shipping costs located in column J if zone 3 is indicated by an X in column C. There's a sum if function. This is perform conditional operations by using the if function, but there is a sum if function that should be able to do this. Okay. So right here, I'm going to say equals sum if parenthesis. Notice that it allows me to do a range, a criteria, and a sum range. Because I don't want to confuse you guys with just this text, I'm actually going to click the function dialog box. I already typed the function in, but if I click this, what range am I evaluating to see if there's an X? I'm evaluating this range, okay? And what is my criteria? My criteria is X. But notice something, it returned as 0. Okay, that's because I haven't selected my sum range yet. This is the area that I want to sum. This being the area I want to sum also has to maintain the same thing. We're going to use an absolute cell reference here. So I'm going to hold down function F4. So now I'm always looking in that range to sum. The reason I didn't do that with this first part is because when I drag this formula across, I wanted to change columns. Does that make sense? Keep in mind, I'm also recording this, so if you have questions after class and stuff, you can refer back to that or you can email me, okay? So anyway, if I click OK, because I use that J2 to J28 as an absolute, I click OK. I drag that across. There we go. Okay. If you were to look at this and you said, okay, we're at 206, 326, and 214 is 540. So I can check it really easily. So that is a sum if. There's an average if, there is a count if, there is, let me go to the function dialog box where I don't have a function typed. If you choose a blank cell and you go to the function dialog box right here, you can go to type anything you want, but also you can go down through here and you can look for logical functions. And inside of here, you can say, okay, there's an if error. There's an if s. If s has checks whether one or more conditions are met and returns a value corresponding to the first true condition and so on. Now, the thing is sum if and average if don't show up there. So I would actually go to, I'm trying to think of where it would be in this case.
Ah,
Yeah, you okay? I just type if functions. So yeah, so it's not there. You would have to understand, okay, well, I'm using a sum if because I want to add something if a criteria is true, an average if, and so on and so on. Okay. Another way of doing it is you hit this function dialog box, select all, and as you scroll through, you might see ifs. So there's count if s, okay, and so on. Now, who gave me the expletive and has a question? Ellen, did you make a mistake? Do you need help? Any questions at all at this point? Okay. There are tons and tons of functions and I can't answer. We don't have time to teach every single function there is. When I first, years and years ago, when I took an Excel class, I had a professor that literally made us go through and make he literally made us go through and make a working function for every one of these, even though we didn't have data to support most of these functions. Okay. So keep that in mind when you're doing stuff. There's no way I can possibly teach you every last one of these, but the most common are like sum if, average if, count if, stuff like that. Okay. So anyway, there's that. So we did this, and it told us to count the copy it from D31 to I31. If you did not make this absolute and you copied it across, that's where you'll run into problems because the second place, well, let me show you what happens. I'm actually just going to copy this down just for the heck of it. And right here, I'm going to, in this case, function F4, function F4. F4. I'm going to do it as a relative cell address and watch what happens. These are all zeros because it changed columns on us. Make sense? If I wanted to, I could have just saved the column letter. But if I know I want that specific range every time, I do absolutes. Okay. Does anyone want to see the functions? Well, let me just show it to you. Let's make this a little bigger so you can see it. So that's what we have so far. These I put in there just as a thing to show you what was happening. These are the only two that we need. Thank you for the heart. I appreciate that. Am I going slow enough? Am I explaining things enough? Stuff like that. Remember, my primary goal is that you get something from this class. Okay. So now, here's the thing. Format text by using concat. Concat is concatenate and text join functions. In the outsourcing worksheet in column D, use a function to combine the text in the city column and the state column separated by a comma. Okay. I'm going to control tilde. Nope, control tilde. I'm going to go to outsourcing. And it said in column D, right? In column D, use a function to combine city and column in the state. Now, if I was to use concat, now there's two different things. Concatenates a list or range of text strings, or concatenate, which is this one, joins several text strings into one text string. I would probably use concatenate. However, I'm going to look at equals join text, or text join, okay? Because there's a delimiter, then there's ignore empty, and then there's text one, text two. If you click the function dialog box, it helps you. Delimiter is a character or string to insert between each item. Okay. So the delimiter in this case, they said was a comma, right? Text one was it city then state or state then city? City and then state. So I want city and then I want state. Okay. So that's how it would look. This here, we don't have to worry about it. If I click in there, it just says if true, it ignores empty cells. Okay. Leaving it blank, I didn't need anything there. It's just going to automatically assume that it automatically assumes that it's true by default. If I put false there, then it doesn't ignore the empty cells. Follow me? So I'm going to click OK. And I should have probably had a space in there too. Does anyone agree with me? I'll throw a space in front of that as well. There. I meant after that. Oops. Sometimes I just don't even know what's wrong with me. Okay, so Harlan, Montana. If I copy it down, sorry, it works for all of them. Okay, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to use the concatenate just to show you. Concatenate. Now, if I click the function dialog box, I could have done it like this. I could have said this right here. I could have put quote, comma, space, unquote, and right here, I could have clicked on Tana. Copy that down. Guess what? It works, right? That's my boy crying. I gotta see if he needed something. Okay, I think his mom's got taken care of, so, okay. So that's concatenate and text join. If I was to do the concat, they might have just changed the way that that it's named. So I'm trying it just to show you guys. So text one, text two, text three. So yeah, it's the same thing. So you click the city, comma, or not comma, quote, comma, space, unquote, and then the state. So concat, all they did was change the name of the function. So there. But now you know if you see concatenate, it's the same thing as concat or concat. Okay. Either way, we beat that one like a dead horse. We're good. Questions? You want to see those formulas real quick? Let me show them to you. I'll give you a second to take a look at them. Okay. Oh, and then there was concat. I just dragged these over here so you can see them. Okay. Matter of fact, I'll just drag these over so you can see them and compare. Okay. Any questions? Those are three different ways you can do the exact same thing. So that one pretty easy. Okay. So, okay. That takes us to the next one. Format text by using the right, left, and mid functions. In the outsourcing worksheet in column A, use a function to enter the first three letters of the state. Okay. So right here, if I say equals right, what it's saying is start at the right side of the text and go backwards. But I could start at the left and go forward. Which way should I have to go? Because it says the first three letters of the state. I'm going to start from the left. Okay? Because if it's the first three, I'm counting from the left. I'm going to click the function dialog box. You notice I keep going to this dialog box. Why? Because it gives me hints and explains things. Okay? This returns the specified number of characters from the start of a text string. So my text string is state. The number of characters I want is 3. Okay. Specifies how many characters you want left to extract. Okay. And it stays 1 if you leave it blank. It always returns the first letter. Okay. What do you think? Is this going to work? We will do this. Okay. Now, that's all we had to do for that. They're saying use it to do right, left, and mid. Mid just starts from the middle of the word and goes however many characters you say. And then right starts at the right and goes the number of characters. But because they said that they wanted the first, you got to start on the left and go forward. If they said they wanted the last three, you start on the right and you go backward. Okay. Now the last one, format text by using upper, lower, and len functions. In the outsourcing worksheet in column F, use a function to convert the location code text to all uppercase. Equals upper, parenthesis, this. Pretty straightforward. Hit enter. Copy it down. Not everything has to be the most difficult thing in the world. Let me show you this. If I go to the function dialog box, it will explain to you what it does and how it works. If I use a len function, was len parenthesis of this text, what do you think it's going to return? My guess is the number 3. Because that's how many characters it is. It's the length of that text. And that's not what they asked for. We know they don't want it to be lowercase. They said to all uppercase. So upper is to uppercase, lower is to lowercase. If you've been following along, all you got to do is make sure that it's saved. So just click that refresh if you're doing it to OneDrive. Otherwise, go to File, Save in your file menu if you saved it somewhere other than your OneDrive. And then that file is what you submit. Pretty straightforward. Okay. Did you learn something new? Yes, yes. No. Now, in my grade book for the LinkedIn Learn, there's a column that has, what's it called? Let me open this over here and see if I can find it because you guys can't see this screen, so I'm good. There is a column in the grade book that I'm not throwing a grade in for yet, and I want to show you guys reason why. Okay. I think I'm up to date on grades at this point until people submit things that they had, etc. Why are we doing that? Courses. There we go. Why am I doing this? There we go. Well, take me to courses. What in the heck are you doing? Okay. Okay. Courses. Here we go. That's what I wanted. There was something else I wanted to mention to you guys though, is that there is a column in the grades and it's titled LinkedIn Learning Excel Associate Prep Course Videos. Okay. And I'm going to show you guys something. If I have, does this, I don't think this has a name associated with it. I'm just making sure student spam's not on here. I don't believe so. No. Okay. So in these videos, I showed you the contents. When you see something like this, that means that's been viewed. But as you see the check marks, those are the things that you viewed all the way through. Those check marks, as you go through here, are the things that end up giving you your total certificate at the end. Okay. So you have to complete all of those. So when I go to grade, I'm looking at to see if that's complete before I actually submit the grade. So even though it shows that you have something to be graded, I can't grade that yet because, well, I don't have the information to do it. Okay? I think the total points for that is like 50 points, if I'm correct. I'm looking. So keep in mind that it is important to do those if you want the certificate. It's also important to do those if you want the 50 points associated with it. It is 50 points. Okay. Um, so keep that in mind. I think it doesn't matter if you do it at 2 times speed. It just talks a little faster and stuff like that. But it does pay attention to if you're actually watching it from beginning to end. And then the LinkedIn Learning Certificate, that's a 50-point thing. 50 points at the end of the day isn't going to fail somebody. Well, it might fail somebody if that's all you have, that type of thing. So there's that. Okay. Let's see. Here's a chat. We got a chat. It says that we have a project due. Is that something we are doing? We are going to do a project. Something related to, I'm gonna wait until I come back next week because I am going to be back in person next week, okay? But I want to wait till we're back in person, number one. Number two, we're gonna combine everything together. I'll give you guys time in class to actually work on your project and stuff like that. And the reason I want to try to combine everything together is because even the previous milestones and stuff is like, okay, you make a spreadsheet. Now what are you going to do with it? If you didn't set your spreadsheet up well, the next milestone has you create some functions. Well, what if the functions that you're creating don't match what you created in your initial setup? What if when it's time to create the pivot charts and stuff, what if the layout of your data isn't in a way that's sufficient? So I decided to move that towards the end of the semester. Is that okay? So I need to go back out to our course, and that's one of the assignments this week, I take it. I just didn't notice it. My bad. I got issues when it comes to some of that stuff. So let me go out there and fix that so it's not on the radar at this point. Oh, not there. Courses. Oh, I clicked that again. Come on, computer, catch up to me. I never knew I could be faster than a computer. What in the heck is this thing doing? And I think it's this course. Yeah, it's this course. Good. Come on, do what I tell you to do, thing. And it's week 7. So I go here, assignments. Oh, it's not this week. Okay, we're okay. So anyway, I'm going to be combining it together and making it a project that we do once we actually have all of the information that we need, if that makes sense. You know? Yes, there's one for this week and every week going forward. I don't see it in there. I didn't see a milestone for that this week. Oh, well, I hid that. I think that was last week. This is week 7. I don't see it in week 7. Just don't worry about it. Okay? Yes. Someone raised their hand or just using buttons to use buttons. So yes, due October 13th. Don't worry about that. If it's not in the folder, don't do it. Okay? So if it's not showing in the folder, don't worry about it. Okay, I got clapping going on. They're happy and they're loving me. Oh, it's just what I always needed. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing that screen. And I am going to stop recording unless there's any other questions.